Hello creator, welcome to Odessa Rose Creates. I'm Robin Schmidt and I'm an independent Couture designer, and I'm here to share with you my love of creating with Couture. Couture is a DIY home decor company. It's reusable silkscreen transfers that we skim over with Chalkology chalk paste or inks to create home decor, or even on fabrics and stoneware. So check it out. I have a link down below if you're watching live, or up in my description. You can visit chalkcouture.com and see all the transfer possibilities and colors of chalk paste. It's a beautiful website, so check it out. Today we're going to work on our autumn leaf cutouts, and they are shapes of 2 leaves and a cute little acorn. Aren't they adorable? Now these I sanded down and buffed off some of that white paint. They come like this in a package, all nice and white, kind of whitewash. You can still see the wood grain, right? Well, I just took them to my little power sander and just took some of that paint off and made them look a little bit more rustic. Okay, I did not do the edge because we are going to put a paper around the edge to dress them up a little bit. But then we're going to color them with some paint and then a transfer that was designed for these shapes. It's got all these different little patterns in them. Actually, these are the 3 patterns right here I'm going to use today. The herringbone, the polka dot, and the stripe on the oak leaf. So that's what we're going to do after we get them ready. We have to prep the surface before we even chalk, so we're going to do that first. Like I said, I already sanded, and I'm going to show you another set I did the other day with a little bit different look. This is the other set of patterns that are in that big envelope. It's kind of a Scandinavian look, and I put the same paper on them. This is actually a raised embossed paper. It was a really rich paisley print. And here's the maple leaf. And I did both sides, so they're all around. Super pretty. I have not even showed these on my website or on my Facebook page yet, but they are super kind of high-end look. Not necessarily the country look or farmhouse look. I'm going to set those over here. This is a set of pumpkins. We also have a pumpkin and gourd cutouts with their own transfers, but I put the same little transfer on these pumpkins along with the woven pattern. So these are the pumpkins that I did. This is the same set of transfers. Right here, there's that long strip. That's what's on this pumpkin. And then the little, this pattern here and that pattern of the acorn are in the set of the transfer we're going to use today. Plus I used that open, what do they call it? Woven pattern transfer. It looks kind of like a sweater. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside too. I was just kind of using this as a tray. Let me get that out of the way. Alright, so we got our 3 leaves, or 2 leaves and an acorn. And first we're going to put a little color on them. Because if you think about this transfers that we're going to use, they have your positive and negative space. So where you see the white, that's the silk screen, and that's where the color will be after we screen it over with, squeegee it over with chalk paste. So like this will be all the color that we squeegee over except for the polka dots. And then the stripe is every other. And of course same with the herringbone, you about have a 50-50 color. But so the dark color is the negative space, and we're going to color our negative space just a little bit. Just a little bit, I think. I'm thinking. So I'm going to grab a paintbrush. I'm going to get it wet, and I'm going to use our paste, our chalk paste colors, to do the coloring on the bottom. And I think I'm going to do them all in papaya. No, this is rosewood. And then currant jam, papaya, and curry are going to be my top colors. Okay, so I'm just going to wet my brush and just kind of take some of this and just going to randomly brush it on. It doesn't even have to be perfect, because this is just the background, so it's kind of just going to show through a little bit, so it's kind of staining it. And on this set of leaves, I am going to do both sides. I'm going to do front and back. So it has just kind of a coloring stain on that, right? And I love when you sand down these cutouts, it'll give you different variations because you see the wood tone, you still see some of the paint. So it gives you that really cool, old, almost like an old barn board look. So if you just take your wet brush and brush some of this chalk paste on here really, really thin. And it just gives it a whitewash, colored wash really, of that white paint that's underneath. Okay, so we have both sides. Okay, so I'm going to stand it on its end so they can dry real quick. And I'm going to use the same color underneath on all of them. But the color we transfer through our transfer, each one will be different. So they'll all kind of have this pinkish undertone. If you look closely at leaves, they do have, especially if they have any red on them, they are going to have a little bit of a pinky undertone. And we want just very, very faint. Okay. And the acorn. And of course you can do any colors you want. Don't have to do what I do. Just dipping it in the water. I'll grab a paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry. And I'm going to say hello to everybody. See who's on today. Get on here. There we are. All right. Who is on today saying hello? Talisa. Candace Craft. It's a wolf tooth herringbone. Yes, love them, Karen. Thank you, Cheryl, Debbie, Karen. Hello, Carol. These are my colors in my family room. Which was that? The first set of leaves I showed. What color paste is that? This one that I just did is rosewood. I'm using rosewood, curry, currant jam, and papaya today. Maybe you're asking what colors were on these. I used shimmer copper, shimmer silver, and bark. Okay. And on these, I used shimmer gold, shimmer silver, and I believe this is shimmer crimson, maybe? That's what it's called. The deep red shimmer. Pretty. Pretty colors. Okay. Actually, oh, great, Vicky. Okay. All right, let's dry these real quick, and then we are going to cut the paper. This probably most of it's pretty dry. Such a pretty color when it's washed on this. You see that? It's gorgeous. Trying to think, what else can I do with that color on that wood, sanded down wood? It's so pretty. See it? All right. So I know that these are a 1/2 inch wide. Get the lid on this pieces. So we need, I like to cut just slightly under 1/2 inch on my papers. And today I chose, I've been making collections of paper. I have these 3 patterns, which I thought I was going to use. Those 3. I also have this collection. This is a pretty neat one too. Whoop. Those 3. Which I'll probably do on another set, but this is kind of showing more of that pinky color in here. So I think I'm going to go with this set. It's amazing how the colors changed my mind. And this is another, I got other ones, but I'm going to save them for pumpkins. So, okay, let's do this one. And I'm cutting them just slightly under 1/2 inch. No. Is it 1/2 or 3/4? God, I'm second guessing myself. 3/4 of an inch. Good thing I checked. So right under 3/4. I should know because I'm familiar with the placement on here. So just line that up, cut those. And most of them take 2. The big maple one might be 3 strips. You think I would remember, but I don't. I'll go ahead and cut 3. That way we'll have it done. Okay. So we can set all this aside. Papers and the cutter. And now I just need to grab a piece of cardboard to apply my Mod Podge on the back. So we'll put the little acorn paper on the acorn. I'm trying to decide. Maybe I shouldn't put it on the acorn. I don't know, I'm going to put it on the oak leaf. That would be cute. So we'll do it like, yeah, we'll do it like this. And then you take a craft brush and your Mod Podge. And this really is pretty easy to do. Just kind of put this on, not super thin. You kind of want it kind of thick in case you have to maneuver the paper a little bit, so you have a little give to positioning it, sliding it around. But you don't want it too sloppy either. And then you just take this, and I do know that almost goes all the way around. So you kind of want it to, where you're going to have to piece it, to be where it would be sitting maybe. So I'm going to start it like down here. Usually I start them up at the top, like right at the stem. But I know, because I've already covered one, that it's about that short of just using one piece, if I remember right. So I'm just going to start it here. And you just got to make sure you tuck in all these little grooves. So make sure you push in there. And then just push in all the little grooves. Make sure you're staying straight. So pinch it around the stem. Make sure you're still holding it in position everywhere. And we're going to continue on. And go back and check to make sure that it didn't move on you like it did here. Okay. And just bring it right around. Oh, see, it's not even, it's that close. That's how big of a piece you need to finish it off. Like 1/4 of an inch. So we got it in there, and you're just gonna take a 1/4 of an inch, and then on this teeny piece, I just put the glue right on the acorn here, Mod Podge, and just put that little piece right in there. Cover that up. Okay, so there's our first little acorn. He's covered, and he'll be continuing to change his looks as we go along here. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, we're going to use the little oak acorns on our oak leaf. And these are sheets of scrapbook paper. Most of my scrapbook paper I get at scrapbook.com. I haven't bought any in a while. I go every once in a while. Maybe once a year, I will get on there and buy it. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to start down in this little groove right here. So we're just going along, pressing down in the valleys, the hills and the valleys of this leaf. You can see it almost got that much more to go, so I need to glue another strip. You see how it's coming along on there? I go ahead and just glue the whole strip pretty much, but I know we won't need the whole strip. We'll cut it and trim it. Butt up the ends right to each other. Try not to overlap it, but try to just butt up against it. And it may slide on you because you got all that Mod Podge on there, but sliding is good. Maybe not at first, you don't think, but if you need to move something later, you can. You don't have a lot of time because it'll start to set pretty quick. Okay, and so I know about where I need to trim. And put that right in there. Continuing to press. Okay, so we have that one done. Cute little acorns. And then the maple leaf. It's got lots of hills and valleys, but it doesn't go too bad. It goes pretty quickly. And we're going to do this pattern. Here's the third one. Has anybody else tried this before? Do you use your Cricut a lot? My Cricut cutter? No, not with chalking too much. I use it. My husband's a funeral director, which I've told everybody, and I actually sometimes on their urns they have me cut their names and their year of birth or the birth date and death date. Sometimes like a silhouette of a hobby they do, like anywhere from bowling to fishing to you name it. I'll find the silhouette icon and cut it out, and then I will put it on their urns, and they pay me to do that, so that's about the only thing I've been using my Cricut for. Although I did use it for my big art piece I submitted at Couture to cut my landscape watercolor paper with into the shapes I wanted. I drew out the landscape on Procreate, transferred it into Cricut, and cut my watercolor paper on it, and then I chalked on my watercolor paper. So that was a process. And really this leaf goes easier than you think. You just kind of go up and then fold it over and go down. And I'm amazed at how well the paper stays on there without sliding around too much. Almost easier than the curves of the acorn and the oak leaf. You just keep pressing it. You hold it down and then press it. You can see it's coming along pretty quickly. Oh, I say that and then I just got it all loose again. Okay, so next piece. Just checking everything. I also used my Cricut when my last grandson was born. He's 4 months old now, but my daughter wanted a huge long sign with his name on it to hang above his bed, and so I used it to cut. Again, I used watercolor paper. I colored the paper, and then I cut out the letterings. And now I got to do that for his bigger brother because now they're going to be in the same room, and she wants one for the older brother. So now I gotta do another one. But it turned out really cool. I colored the watercolor paper to look like rustic white barn board, kind of like. More like rustic wood or vintage wood. Anyway, it turned out really cool. Alright, let's get these in here. This just takes a little time, but I want you to know that you can do this, because it's not hard, if you like it. I like adding a little bit of character. Sometimes if you can't get down in the groove of something, I know one, I can't remember what it was I was doing, but I used like a paintbrush handle to get down into the, that just doesn't quite go over the edge. So I'm just gonna end it here at the valley of the leaf and start my new one right here. Because it went, and it hung like teeny fraction to go over, and I knew it wouldn't stay down, so I just cut it in here and I'll start the next piece, and I just have that much more to go. See, it looks pretty. All right, and one more. And now we know where to cut this one. Okay, so now it's all the way around. Just pushing it down, squeezing out the excess Mod Podge and wiping it off. Cool, right? All right, pick this mess up, and I'm gonna put the heat dryer on them a little bit just to dry that Mod Podge a bit, and then we'll be ready to chalk. I'm gonna set these here. Okay. Definitely want to use a paper cutter when I get them. Yes, you do want to get a paper cutter. I don't think they're that expensive, and I use it all the time because I did the big block set. They're the wider blocks. I've done those. I've done trees, the pumpkins now. Yeah, I really like it. I have heard of some crafters call it devil's glue, but whoops. Can't see what you said. Yeah. I always get the matte Mod Podge too. If you've never worked with Mod Podge, I like the matte. Otherwise, you can get it where it'd be shiny, and I don't want it to be shiny. I'm just giving this a good drying. Now sometimes, if your paper is a little thicker than your edge, then you can just take sandpaper and sand off that where the paper's hanging over, because you know, you want it to be all in one plane. So if you have any hangover, that's where I learned exactly where I want to cut it so I don't have that hangover. Make sure you're cutting straight and you won't have to worry about the hangover. But if you do have some that's sticking over the edge, just take your sandpaper and sand that, and it'll basically tear off that edging. Okay, mine all feels, sometimes I do have it, but this all feels smooth. I don't have any hangover, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, the next thing we want to do is I'm going to apply a wax before I put my transfer on. And I'm going to go ahead and use stained wax. And two reasons why. Well, we're waxing because I want to go ahead and seal in this chalk paste. And I'm going to use a stained wax because I want it to go ahead and start to antique this color and some of the paper. And then sometimes you'll see like the whiteness of the edge of the there. That'll also help stain that darker. And you can also use like distressed ink and put some of that on the edges too if you get a lot of whiteness showing up around here. This coloring, the watercoloring kind of helps. If you left this white, you would have a lot of whiteness maybe right on the edge here. And using a stain pad, like the distressed ink pad, and rubbing that on there will kind of take away that bright whiteness if you have that. But coloring this helped get rid of that white edge because it kind of went over the edge a little bit, if that makes any sense. For my can opener, is that like the number one thing I'm always doing, is looking for my can opener? It sure seems like it. It should be right here. It's not. Okay. Now this is going to go ahead and darken this up. See how it made it not so pink now? And I like to go ahead and wax my paper. It will also stain it. If I'm using the stain wax, it'll also darken that and antique it too, especially the lighter colored papers. So you can see he's a little more dirty. Such a pretty color. Okay, so I'm just kind of getting it all over. I love the feel after you wax something and it's cured. It just has that finished feel to it. Sometimes I'll do it over my chalk. But I don't like how it reacts with the black chalk. It makes it look kind of fuzzy for some reason. So I don't always chalk over my black chalk, or wax over my black chalk. As you can see, I do not take care of my nails and stuff. I don't do manicures and nails and all that because my hands work too much with this stuff to worry about having. Plus my nails are super thin and they don't take to that. It just makes them worse. Okay, one more, the maple leaf. These leaves would be pretty just staining them with a color wash and then doing this. They would be pretty just like that. Get a bunch on my rag here. Try to get the paper around all this crazy zigzaggy edge of this maple leaf. Okay. Cool. All right. Put that away. Wipe some of this off. I feel like I got crumbs of wax. All right, we got our 3 patterns. Let's cut those apart. Between the wax and the chalk paste and especially the Mod Podge, you get a lot of crumbs. You know, that glue gunk on your fingers. I want to peel up. Sometimes you got to stop and go wash your hands, but we'll try to. Okay, I'll make sure we have any more questions. It's hard to cut the scrapbook perfectly on the to wrap the edge. Yeah, any paper cutter. It doesn't even have to be a Cricut cutter. There's all kinds of brands of paper cutters out there. Mine just happened to be the Cricut one. So any paper cutter. You'll see them in the craft stores. Do you work in a she shed? No, this is one of our spare bedrooms that I converted into my craft room. There's 2 bedrooms down here and a Jack and Jill bathroom in between. So I have the water right there, right over there in the bathroom. It has a little, kind of like a little walk-in closet where I hang all my transfers, the big transfers. Then over here I have one of them scrap boxes that, I don't know if I could show you. Let's see if I can tilt it. There it is. And that has chalk paste in it, scrapbook paper over here, scrapbook paper in those bins, chalk paste and inks. If you go a little bit further, there's my bins of transfers, A's, where am I going? A's and B's right there. And then, woo, I'll get it all straightened up. Over here I have shelving of surfaces and my Cricut cutter over here, and I have my sewing machine table over there. And yeah. And then this is kind of like an island, countertop island. But when I'm doing lives, I work here. But usually if I'm working on smaller projects, I'll sit over there at that desk. And when I'm just creating by myself. Unless it's a big project, then I'll stand up here. But sometimes I just get tired of standing. So, all right, now we just need to decide what color we're going to put on what. I think we're going to do it like this. So papaya on my acorn with the polka dot, and currant jam on my maple leaf, and curry on my oak. So where we see the little dots, we're going to see this pinkish color come through. And I'm going to do both sides. So even though sometimes the stem, the tip of the stem angle changes, I think you could still flip it over and do them. Otherwise, they're pretty symmetrical. Okay. So papaya. So these are just going to be, you know, little whimsical trinkets to set in your tiered tray or on your shelves, your mantles, your end tables, sofa table, coffee table, you name it. You could put them even on your kitchen counter, or your bathroom counter, wherever you want to decorate. So there's that one. It's looking pretty funky. I'm going to dry it real quick and just flip it over and chalk the other side. Do this one. Whoop. If I ever move, I would love to have a well, actually, I like being attached to the house. I think I would just want a bigger craft room in the lower level or part of the house, whatever. Because I like not having to leave my house, especially in the winter. I would like just having it attached. Okay, so we have both sides done. Cute little polka dot. And set that down. Of course, I will wash this and reuse it over and over. When you get done washing and it dries, the sticky side goes to the shiny side of the paper. And the best way to do that after this is washed, if you don't know, put sticky side up and you got your shiny side, and then just line it up like this. That's the easiest way to put your sheets back on your transfers. So lay your transfer sticky side up, nice and flat, then put shiny side down on top of your sticky side. Okay? Every once in a while I gotta remember to tell you that, guys, that are new to chalking. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. The angle of the stem is going to be different once we flip it over, but you can still work with that. It's no big deal to do both sides because your leaf itself is symmetrical. It's the same on both sides. And this one we're going to use currant jam. And like start in the middle, especially on these pieces, because it's hard for them to stay attached because this here cannot stick to anything, right? I just stuck my finger on that wet chalk paste. So start in the middle and go out. That helps your transfer stick down. The paste will help your transfer stick down. But just work out like this. And we're going to skim down a nice thin coat of this chalk paste. So skimming it down. Put your extra back in the jar. Pick that up. Blow dry it. Look at that pretty with that pink. Woohoo! Blow dry it. It's kind of almost a rose gold color underneath. We'll dry it and then we'll flip it over. Thanks, Karen. You're such a pro. Yes, that's true. That's why you want to start in the middle, Carol, and work your way out. And your paste will help you help your transfer stick down as you're skimming it. So start in your middle and work your way out. Alright, now we're going to do this side. Same transfer with the chalk paste still on it. I'm going to line it up. Now that tip angle of the stem is, you know, going the other way, but it's alright, don't worry about it. I'm going to press it down here, and sometimes I'll take my empty squeegee and just try to smooth it all down like that. Now we're going to load it up. Again, start in the middle. I hold it down with your fingers till you get it started. And hopefully you won't have much frustration of it lifting off. You can use these transfers, you know, not just on the shapes, like I used them on my pumpkins, but you can use them on a board if you want to make a sign. You know, you can use these transfers on a flat surface. It doesn't have to be on a cutout. Okay, I think I got everything. Pick that up again. Now we have both sides done. I'm going to dry. Onto the oak leaf, which has this cool stripe transfer. So we're going to see this pinkish and curry colored stripe. This is going to be an interesting combination. I think it, once we distress and antique it all, I think it's going to look really cool. So I'm going to start out with it on here. Line it up, press from the center going out, just like you do chalking. So press from the center, go out. This paste is a lot thinner than my other two pastes. They're all the old formulas. I still have quite a bit of old formula. smooth out your squeegee lines because they will show up. Going to dry. And we'll flip it over. Taking that empty squeegee and pressing it down. Like I normally would with my fingers, but there's paste on there, so no sense getting them all messy, even more messy than what they already are. That one. Now we're going to do a little distressing. And one thing you could do when you are chalking is not chalk the whole cover, like leave some open spaces, and that will give you a distressed look already instead of having to sand it, because you don't ever really want to sand down red because the chalk paste dust will kind of just smear right into your background. Even though this is kind of almost a tone on tone, it might work. But if you had a white background and you had red paste on top of it, and you tried to sand down your chalk paste to distress it, it's going to make your background pink, especially with reds. You can pretty much do it with any other color, but not so much reds. Or you can just distress with ink, distress ink. I'm going to shut these up a little bit. Set those over there. So, like I said, you could take sandpaper, and if you wanted to, you know, rough it up a little bit so it doesn't look so brand new, because your background is obviously old looking. So you can just kind of take that crispness away by just rubbing over it with sandpaper. And you see the chalk dust is landing on my... You can even like really distress certain areas and make it look really worn. And I don't think I'm going to do it. Let's just see what it does down here. That's not too bad. And maybe you just want to do it around the edges to make it look kind of worn around the edges. but it is making the background a little bit pinker, so I'm not going to do it too much. Okay, so take a rag or something and brush off your dust. So it just kind of wears it down a little bit, just to make it look vintage, like vintage and worn, like the background. I'm also going to take a wet wipe and pick up some of this chalk dust on my mat so I don't have it transferring, sticking to something I don't want it to stick to. You can see it definitely was on there, right? So pick it up. Okay, so now maybe we want to distress it more. Maybe you want to leave them, but they look super cute together. Really cute. I might put a little distressed ink around the edge. This is by Ranger. It's a Tim Holtz product. It's distressed ink. You can get these in little packages of 4 different colors at a craft store. I do have a big pad of it too, but I had to order that through Amazon because I couldn't find the big pad in a craft store. But just take it on your little dauber and make sure you use a foam dauber, or what are you going to call this, and not the felt one. I don't think the felt one does a very good job, but you can see how you just go around the edges and it just kind of highlights everything. So here it is with it on the edges, and there it is without. You kind of see the difference. And you could even like lightly brush it across the top. And you could even hit some of your paper if you want. This will also darken the very edge of your paper, where you can see the white edge of your paper, and this will darken that up so you don't notice that, because all that whiteness will show up. So there's our cute little oak leaf. Okay. I'll do the same thing with the acorn. So there he is distressed. And there he is not distressed. So you can see the difference. I think they're cute with the, it's kind of like putting a, what is it on photography, like a vignette around, like you bring it in the darkness, it just kind of highlights the pattern. There's it. I'm just getting all the edges of that paper darkened. It's cute. And now the maple leaf. sure you can see. There he is distressed, and there he is not distressed. So you can see there's a big difference. All right, let's do this side. And this one is Walnut Stain. It's kind of like the darkest. They have another shade of a lighter shade of brown that sometimes I use depending on how dark I want things or the color that I'm going around. I also have blues and greens. I've used other colors too. All right, that's looking pretty cute. So, I think we're pretty done. Takes a little bit for this ink to dry, but it will dry. Otherwise, it's all over your fingers. Aren't they cute? Look at them. They're so cute together. I wish I could hold them up better. Look at them. They're adorable. So cute. Fun. These will be super cute in a tiered tray, on a sofa table, on a coffee table, on a shelf, you name it. It's going to be cute. I don't know how you can set that up. There we go. Yeah. Fun, fun, fun. Can you show them with your pumpkins? Yes. They won't really match these pumpkins. Do I have other pumpkins? Oh, I have just my Halloween ones. But for size-wise, you can get the idea. And on the back of these, I just left them white. In case they want to turn them over, say for Halloween or something. You could just turn them white. I haven't decided. I don't think I'm going to do the back. I think I'm just going to leave them white on these. But you can get the idea of the sizing of them. Yeah. Hope I am trying to push it this way a little bit. There, so you get an idea of what they look like. And this is the same acorn. In the same transfer, you get both patterns, the polka dot and the Scandinavian looking pattern, in the same set of transfers. So you get 2 acorn shapes, 2 oak shapes, and 2 maple shape transfers. And then, so you get these 3. What's this one and this one, and then there's a maple leaf one, and then you get this long piece right here. So they're right here. So the 3 I used today, plus this long piece right there, this is what I did up on here on the gourd, and then this is the maple one, which I haven't used yet, and then the oak and the acorn. So you get all of those pieces in this size D transfer. And yeah, and then we have transfers for the cutout pumpkins too. But on this set of pumpkins, I used some of these and the woven pattern, which looks like a sweater, knit sweater look to it. This is what I have like right in here. All right. So that's that woven pattern. It's cute. I even used it here. I just extended this section, which is just this big, and I just repeated it across. And then there's that little piece of it too. Okay. So fun. Any more questions? They all look so pretty. Love them, love them. Can you show them? Okay. What is your go-to color for Fusion Mineral Paint? Go-to color is raw silk or the black, what do they call it? Coal black? Coal black and raw silk, which I didn't use on any of these today, but wow, it makes a difference. Yes, the distressing, if you want that distressed aged look, and I think fall is a perfect time to use that, because I even used it around the edges here. I used it around the edge, even front and back. I mean, these were sanded down quite a bit to the wood, but yet I still distressed even on this a little bit. So, yep. Okay, so that's our project today. I make sure I didn't go all the way back. How do you hang or store your transfers? My large transfers, I just use dry hanger hangers. Dry cleaning hangers is what I'm trying to say. And I try to group like so many on one hanger, different themes together. So I kind of have like home. I have like all sentiments like hellos, welcomes, kind of, and then I kind of go into home themes like welcome home, home, whatever. And then kind of go into kitchen. This is in my closet of C's, D's, and E's. The other E's, yeah. And then home, and then kind of go into garden, and then farming, and then the seasons, fall, Halloween, Christmas sections. And then on the lower level, I have all mostly like patterns, like especially like the size D, like the plaids and all the patterns and the big size D floral patterns on the lower level of my closet. And then in my tubs or in my trays over here, my A's and B's, I'll have a tray for just fall and Halloween, and then I have a tray for Christmas. And then I do all my other B transfers, which I need. They're getting so thick, but I try to do like the full transfer where you don't cut anything apart. You just use the full sheet. I have them in one tray, and then I have ones that you cut up in another tray. But I'm to the point where I kind of need to separate them down more into categories. Maybe that would work better. And then I have a tray of just A's that are not Christmas or fall related. So that's kind of how I sort out my transfers. And then I have tubs of paste. So I have like whites and grays. Then I have off-whites and browns and gold. And the silver goes in the white and grays. And then I have greens and blues, yellows, reds, pinks, and purples in my tubs of like this. Like this is all blues. So, okay. All right, any more questions? I think I'm going to try that. Yes, give it a try. Where did you get your tray? The trays came with the scrap box, which is the big organizing unit. I think it's the scrapbox.com. They may have changed their name, but I think you'll find it if you Google scrap box. It's a big cabinet that you can fold up and put away, but mine is never put away. I just leave mine out. And then I have another cabinet storage where I put all my rolls of Cricut or vinyl and all that stuff, and little accessory or little trinkets for accessorizing, stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much the craft room. Back here is some of my artwork from Love Launch Live show back in January. But I think I need to change this up. I'll probably put some fall here soon in this area. But okay, I think Dreambox, yes, Dreambox, same thing. Okay, anything else? Yeah, so in this bedroom, it had carpet, and we laid, right on top of the carpet, we just laid some laminate flooring planks so I wouldn't damage the carpet, you know, so, which I probably would have trashed the carpet, and I'd rather have the hard floor on it so I can sweep and clean it better. But yeah, you can see it back here, the hard laminate put down. Oh, do you have a video of your changeable bows? I just did that on my gnome. I did 2 lives this past week on my gnome circular door hangers. So go to my page, Odessa Rose Creates by Robin Schmidt. You should be able to link on it just from here. Just click on it, and then go to either scroll down my feed, and you'll see where I'm working on the gnomes. Or go to videos, and I make the bow right there after I get done chalking the round. Whoa! And I show how I did the bows. They're just tied on. It's easy peasy. So you can check that out. Okay, anything else? Okay, perfect, I think. Thanks for talking with me. Have a great week. Today, oh, I can't think of today's Monday. Today's not Monday, today's Thursday. So I did those gnomes like Monday and Tuesday, because yesterday I was not on live. So Monday and Tuesday, just a couple days ago, is where I did the exchangeable bow. Sorry about that. I keep thinking today's Monday. It's not, it's Thursday. So I got to give a shout out to Centerville baseball team. They're playing in the state final championship today for baseball. They won semifinals last night in oh man, they were down 10-3, like maybe the 4th inning, and they just kept coming back, and they ended up tying the game 10-10 in the 7th inning. And then the 8th inning, the other team scored 1, and then we came back and scored 2 and won that. It was pretty exciting, and all I could do was listen to it. But today is the championship game, so I want to cheer them on. Go Big Reds, and I'll talk with you later. Bye.